The contentious issue, which will remain that way, the NRL today confirming they will not be backing down on their concussion stance with the independent doctor inside the bunker. Gus, where does it go from here? We're only a handful.
Oh, James, you're asking the wrong bloke.
Games
you're asking the wrong bloke.
Yep.
I mean, I've talked to you about this concussion hysteria and where the game is headed and why it's headed that way and who they've given way to, media and doctors and lawyers and all this misinformation, etc. And I think that the doctor in the bunker is the greatest abomination perpetrated on our game in history. And it's confusing for players and it's confusing. It's not every bump to the head is a concussion. Not every concussion is life-threatening. It's just total overkill. And I don't know how the players and the coaches are going to contend with this. I understand player welfare. So do clubs. So do coaches, so does everybody, so does doctors. Unfortunately, the club doctors are put in a position where they want the independent doctor because they don't want to have to make the decision themselves, and it's just too difficult. It's not going to change. The game will not back away from this. They will keep doing it, and it's going to create more and more problems. But not every slap to the face or bump in the head requires a HIA review. It just would appear that old mate up in the bunker has decided whenever someone gets a bump to the head, they've got to go off and get checked for 15 minutes, which I find totally ludicrous. And it's not, you know, it's like arguing with people on climate change. It's the same thing. They keep throwing up the same rubbish.
Well, I personally think that...
And how far down this rabbit hole do you want to go? Honestly, you know, as they say, don't argue with idiots.
But this is the problem, Gus. It's not going anywhere. And it's going to... For me, it's been the biggest issue in the game for a number of years now, the HA, because I do think clubs reward it. I've got no doubt clubs reward it. They do. I think it should be put back in the hands of the club doctors. No one knows the players better than the club doctor. No one does. And I understand...
The club doctors don't want to be put in the position. They don't want to make the decision. They don't want to have to answer to their club or their coach if they rule the player out. So they're the ones that push for the independent doctor.
You can't question the integrity of a club doctor. And I've got no doubt there would be a club doctor in the game that would cheat the system or do the wrong thing. I've got no doubt there would be.
That's why the term independent doctor is so confusing.
It's ridiculous.
They're all independent.
And they're somewhere, they're so far away, they're not even at the ground being able to see the players. A lot of times you might cop a slap in the face, but it's how you react after it that should come into account as well.
I find it ridiculous that a doctor sitting in a bunker, nowhere near the ground, without even talking to the player, looking to the player, or examining the player, can decide he's category 1 and can't return. So even if that player comes off and passes his HIA, he can't return because old mate's already ruled him out for the game.
And let's not forget,
we've seen the bad ones.
He does the HIA with the club doctor.
We know the bad ones when we see them. We know the ones that probably shouldn't return to play. The clubs already know that. But the rest of it, the slaps in the faces and all that sort of thing, it's an indictment on our game. It really is. The players don't understand why they've even been dragged there.
I agree. I totally agree on this. I just don't understand.
And it's all about litigation. It's got, you know, we talk about play. It's all about litigation. That's what it's about. Protecting the game.
That's what the game's worried about. Exactly right.
They're worried about this tsunami of class actions, which we've been threatening for ages, which never come. But, you know, and if we did, I say take them on. There's not a court in the world that's going to award them anything.
Gal, I've talked to players who say they try and beat the system. I mean, did you try and beat it when you were playing?
Oh, I had 2 concussion tests ever. One of them I didn't need. I knew I didn't need it, but I was taken off for it anyway. One of them I probably can understand why I was given the concussion test, but I passed both. I've got no doubt clubs reward it. They do, without a doubt. Well, it's the players part of the club, yeah, they are. Probably so. Maybe you can say the players but the club's rewarded. There's so many blokes who get concussion tested about the 20-minute mark or the 10-minute mark after half time. It happens all the time. It's been the biggest issue in the game for a number of years, in my opinion. But we can't. How do you question a concussion? You can't question it.
My concern is that they're scaring players. The misinformation is scaring players. The players don't know what to believe. The players think that if they get a concussion, they're going to be ruined for life. It's ridiculous what they've done on evidence and reports which have later been discredited for a long time. All right, the whole thing is a hysteria that just grows of its own. It's like climate change. Don't argue with them because you can't win the argument. It'll go on, and as a smart bloke told me 10 years ago, it'll end up the end of contact sports.